Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Seance. In January 2020, the world was made aware of the tragic passing of ex-Children of Bodom and former Bodom After Midnight frontman Alexi Laiho. He passed away in December, but the world was not made aware of his passing until January, which is when I found out. So this video is in memory of him. I'm going to be talking about my experiences with the band. I'm not going to be going into a full detail of the band and everything. If you'd like to know the history of the band, please watch the documentary on their Chaos Ridden Years DVD. That is a great documentary on the band, and it'll tell you all the history you need to know about them. This video or this podcast is just my experience with the band. And to this day, they're one of my favorite bands. Alexi Laiho is an amazing guitar player, and he will forever be missed. So, yeah, let's get to it. The first time I ever heard of Children of Bodom or Alexi Laiho was in late 2004, I believe. My cousin bought a Guitar World magazine, and it had 3 guitar players on it. Steve Vai, Zach Wilde, and this other dude. He had long blonde hair. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I was immediately drawn to his guitar. I was like, fuck, that looks nice, man. And then his name was Alexi Laiho, and his band was Children of Bodom. And I never really paid no mind to it until about like 2005. I got some of Bodom's music, and I never heard of Europe before, like the band. So the first song I ever got of them was their cover of The Final Countdown. And I listened to it. I was like, it's all right. I showed it to my brother Kevin, and even he said, like, I don't like Europe, the band. I'm not going to listen to that song. So then I went back to the city, and I went and visit my cousins, and I got more of Children of Bodom songs. And one of the first songs I ever heard, which is just an amazing song, was Bed of Razors. I remember my cousin was sitting on the floor playing GTA San Andreas, I think, and I was sitting at the computer. I pressed play on the song, and the keyboard came in. We both kind of stopped. He pressed pause on his game, and then we kind of listened, and then all of a sudden the guitar came, and then the rest of the band came in, and the guitar was playing exactly what the keyboard was playing, and it fucking floored us. I was like, holy fuck, man, this is awesome, man. Listened to the whole song, and it was amazing. After that, I started listening to a lot more of their tunes. I got hooked right away. So now I'll talk about like the albums, the concerts, like, and his guitars and stuff like that. So Alexi and Yaska started a band called In Earth, and those were the first Children of Bodom demos, I should say, but that was the first band that they came out with, and they put out three demos under the name In Earth. I think it was Implosion of Heaven, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, Ubiquitous, Absence of Remission, and Shining. Now, I never actually sat down and listened to these albums, so I can't really, say too much about them, but I have them. Maybe it's time to actually sit down and have a listen to these little pieces of musical history now that Alexi has passed. And yeah, so if you haven't listened to them, check them out. The first album they actually put out was Something Wild, which came out in 1997. I remember watching the documentary and Alexi saying that was, they had a contract under with another label, but that was a complete rip-off deal, and someone from Spine Farm, I think it was, went to him and said, you got to tell them that you just quit the band's broken up, and then they started a new band called Children of Bodom. With Something Wild, this was like the 4th Children of Bodom album I ever bought, and to this day, it's my 3rd favorite album. Like, I liked a lot about this album. The guitar work was amazing. Like, when I first heard Lake Bodom, I was again floored. The guitar work was awesome. Dead Night Warrior, the solo was a great one, and 2 songs on there, The Nail, and I think it was The Nail and Dead Night Warrior. They both have sound bites from 2 of my favorite movies at the beginning. The Nail had A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Dead Night Warrior had a soundbite from It there. I remember hearing that and like, what the fuck is that? And then I watched It. I was like, there it is. Touched Like an Angel of Death. This album had that one on it, and that to this day is one of my favorite Children of Bodom albums. songs, one of my favorite Children of Bodom songs. And then next they came out with Hate Breeder, which came out in 1999. I can't say enough about this album. This is fucking amazing. It's the first Children of Bodom album I ever bought because it had my favorite song on it. And I was floored from start to finish. Like, it stays my favorite Children of Bodom album. I can listen to it front to back without skipping any songs. I fucking love all of them. Bed of Razors is obviously my favorite song. Children of Bodom is a fucking great song. Like, the guitar work in there is just amazing. Like, I honestly could say that this album really showcases how good of a guitar player that Alexi and even Alexander was when he was in the band. Like, it was fucking amazing. I'm gonna keep saying amazing because it's just a fucking awesome album. And like, Black Widow towards Dead End, like, this just truly showcases how good of a guitar player that Alexi was. And even Yane, his keyboard playing is just fucking phenomenal in this album. After that, they came out which came out in 2000, and this is about the second Bodom album I ever bought, and it's my second favorite Children of Bodom album. Again, it showcases Alexi's fucking amazing guitar work, Yanni's great keyboard playing, and it features one of my second favorite Children of Bodom song, which is Every Time I Die. It's dark, it's awesome, and I remember the first time I ever saw the video. I bought a metal compilation DVD called Monsters of Metal, and one of the videos on there was Children of Bodom, Every Time I Die, and that's why I bought it. And it was a fucking phenomenal video. Like, I just like the whole thing about it, which is actually around the same time I saw that Alexi was in Synergy with Rope, who also played in the band, and I'll talk about that later. But this album, like, I loved that Every Time I Die. It was a fucking amazing song. Like, I love this song. The lyrics were dark as fuck. The guitar and keyboard solos were awesome. Kissing the Shadows, another great song, was one that floored me. Like, Alexi's sweep picking in that fucking solo just floored me. I was like, wow, like, I got to learn how to do that. And to this day, I still don't know how. Maybe I got to practice a lot more. This is just another great album that showcases a lot of great Children of Bodom tunes. Bodom After Midnight, Mask of Sanity, Hate Me, Children of Decadence. Like, this is a great album that if you haven't listened to it, you really should check it out. And Hate Crew Death Roll, which rolled out in about 2003, was probably the third Children of Bodom album I ever bought, and it's my third favorite Children of Bodom album. Like, it showcases Angels Don't Kill, fucking great song, man. Like, and 6 Pounder, which is a fucking heavy tune too. I liked it, and like, the second solo in that one just floored me. I was like, wow, it sounds like evil as shit, like it could be in a horror movie. I fucking loved it. It truly is a great album. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Are You Dead Yet came out in 2005, and this is around the same time that I heard of Children of Bodom, and this album features Rope Latvala as guitar. He replaced Alexander when he quit the band, but they're both great guitarists. Alexander is a fucking awesome player, and Rope too is just a fucking amazing player. And I saw a lot of his guitar playing and heard a lot of his guitar playing, and I was fucking floored by it. He's just a fucking great guitar player. He also played in the band Synergy with Alexi, and in my opinion, he's a fucking great guitar player. This album has some of the band's classics on it as well, like Are You Dead Yet, In Your Face, Living Deadbeat, Trash, Lost and Strung Out. This album, in my opinion, was their last good album, I'll say. Like, I'm not going to say that it was that the rest of their albums were fucking horrible, because they were good, but this was the last, like, good album that I actually liked a lot of the songs on it. And like, that being said, nonetheless, it's still a great album that you should definitely check out. Blood Drunk came out in 2008, and it was a good album. I, for one, only really liked maybe 2 songs off of it. 3, actually. Blood Drunk, the title track, was a fucking awesome tune. I remember when I first saw the video of it, and that was the very first time that I ever saw my dream guitar. That video feature was one of the first times I ever saw his pink Sawtooth guitar, and that was my fucking as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that is a fucking nice guitar, man. The video was good. I liked it. I remember watching it and being like, wow, this is actually a fucking cool video. And then seeing that guitar, that was awesome. I also liked Tie My Rope and Hellhounds on My Trail. And that's about it for me for this album. Relentless, Reckless, Forever came out in 2011. This is another decent album. I bought it. I liked it, but not in my tops list of the band. Was It Worth It was a good track. I saw the video. I liked it, as well as Round Trip to Hell and Back, Shovel Knockout. And again, that's about it with this album. And next they came out with Halo of Blood, which came out in 2013. The only things I could say about this album, it was the first metal vinyl I bought, like this one. They came to Saskatoon like a day before my birthday. My sister hooked me up with some cash, and I bought my first metal vinyl at the show, which is this one, and it's never gonna leave my collection. I love it. Thank you for buying it for me, sis. And that's really all I could say about this album. It actually has, like some good albums on it. Transference was a good song. I remember watching the video and listening to the song and thinking like, wow, that they actually went back to their old sound. Like, I think on Follow the Reaper, that's the sound that I was like, yeah, it really does sound like that. So that's the one. What another one? Dead Man's Hand on You was another good one. I thought it was one of their slower songs, and I remember hearing in an interview that was one of the slower songs that they ever put out. And that's really all I could say about that. And the last two studio albums, 2015's I Worship Chaos and 2019's Hexed, are the albums that I didn't really listen to yet, so I can't really say much about them. I know that Hexed was the last studio album of the band before they disbanded the group in 2019, I think it was. They also put out other releases different from their studio albums, and one was the Tokyo Warhearts Live in Japan, which came out in 2019. And this was a live DVD for their touring cycle for Hatebreeder after it came out. And this is one live album that I actually liked. I want to really see the like if there was ever a video made of it or a DVD, like I'd fucking truly love to see that one, because it's like I said, Hatebreeder had some of Alexi's greatest guitar playing on it, and like seeing it live would just fucking be awesome. And it was the first live album that they played A Bed of Razors on, which is my favorite track. And like even when they played, I think it was Lake Bodom on it, they did this cool thing in the intro where they threw in a slide in the sweep picking part, and I thought that sounded actually cool. Like, it was a very subtle change, but it was fucking awesome. It's a great album. Check it out. You'll love it. And then they came out with Chaos Ridden Years, Stockholm Knockout Live in 2006. And this was the first live time I ever saw one of their DVDs for sale out here in Canada anyway. I remember hearing that it was coming out, and my dad always used to take me to Prince Albert, and we went to CD Plus, and then I saw it there, and I was like, fucking, like, please, Dad, buy it for me, hook it up. And he bought it for me, and I fucking took it home. I watched it, and I was floored start to finish, and it was a great one. And it had really awesome special features too, like the band's music videos. It had a fucking great documentary on it that you should check out if you haven't really heard the complete history of the band. It has a good documentary on there on the band. It's awesome. Deleted scenes. It was a fucking good one. I liked it. And then they came out with a covers album called Skeletons in the Closet in 2009. This album is comprised of a lot of their cover songs that they put out through the course of the early years. It has some great covers on there, like She Is Beautiful from Andrew WK. Fucking awesome rendition of the song. Like, I was a fan of the tune, but I wasn't truly a fan of it until I heard Children of Bodom's version. It was fucking awesome. And even Somebody Put Something in My Drink, fucking, by the Ramones, their rendition of that, fucking awesome. No Commands, which is a Stone cover. I think, I'm not sure, but correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I'm sorry. I think it was a band that Rope was in, and their rendition of that song too was fucking awesome. And another album that if you haven't checked it out yet, you should check it out. Bodom After Midnight, Paint the Sky with Blood. And Bodom After Midnight was the band that Alexi and ex-Bodom guitarist Daniel formed after the disbanding of Children of Bodom, and the band recorded some songs before Alexi's passing and are releasing the last works of Alexi this April, or this month I should say. and I can't fucking wait to hear it, man. Like, I think they came out with the video already, and I watched it already. It's a fucking great one. Check it out. So Alexi played in the band Synergy. Synergy is a great metal band that features some of Alexi's great guitar work too. Even Rope's songs like "Suicide by My Side," "I Spit on Your Grave," "Midnight Madness," "Passage to the Fourth World," and of course "Shadow Island." "Shadow Island" is a fucking good song. I remember first time hearing it. I just searched Synergy and grabbed some tunes, and "Shadow Island" was one. And as soon as I heard it, it was fucking awesome. If you really want to get in the band, I suggest you find "Suicide by My Side" and listen to that whole album. It's fucking awesome. But like, a lot of their tunes on the other albums are good, but this one was my favorite. Ever since I heard of Children of Bodom, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to see these guys live. They sound fucking awesome. I just can't imagine how they sound live. It's probably deadly. And the first time or so I thought was, I think in 2006, I saw a poster of the Unholy Alliance tour that was coming to Saskatoon, and the poster had Children of Bodom's name on it, and I was immediately like, holy fuck, I got to buy tickets. Bought the tickets, told my cousins about it, and we all got tickets because we were all Children of Bodom fans. On the day of the concert, we were driving to the city, and like, all of a sudden we got a flat tire, and I guess that should have been my first inkling, like, fuck, man, this day is not turning out great. But I was like, all right. And then we got to the show, and I was standing in line, and I had my Children of Bodom sweater on, and this one chick that was standing in line saw it, and she was like, "Children of Bodom aren't coming today." I was like, what? I didn't want to listen. I was like, whatever, they're probably coming. And so we stayed in line. All of a sudden, this dude came out of the club that they were playing at, and he was talking to his friends, and all I heard was like, "Bodom ain't here. That's the whole reason I came." And they left. And then a lot of other people were coming out of the venue saying, "Bodom's not even here. They're like, that's the band I came to see." I was like, fuck, man. Lamb of God was still headlining, and they're a fucking great band, still one of my favorites. So I was like, fuck, I don't know why you guys are leaving. Lamb of God's still playing. But I think I remember reading or hearing that the promoter put Children of Bodom's name on the poster to try and sell more tickets, and I guess it worked because a lot of people went to the show in hopes to see Bodom. The first time I actually seen them was when they came with the Gigantor with Megadeth in 2008, and you know, it was fucking awesome. Like, I remember being there, and the place where you drink, like the beer gardens, I guess, or like the place where you could drink was closed off from the place like where everyone else was, like the mosh pit and like the stage and that. And I didn't have my glasses, so I couldn't really see shit. So I just decided to stay in the beer gardens and have my own like one-man mosh pit there. And it was fun as hell. I loved it. And a little after that, me and my friends decided, like, yeah, fuck this. Like, we didn't even stay for Megadeth. And I remember after that, my brother saying, like, you know, Megadeth only played like 5 songs. I was like, all right, well, we didn't really miss much. I remember my cousin taking me to a Children of Bodom show because she had some extra tickets, and the people that were going to go with her fucking backed out, and she was like, "You guys want to come?" I was like, "Fuck yes, I do." And that was the first time I ever heard Every Time I Die live, and it was fucking awesome, man, because it was one of my favorite tunes. And I still yet to hear Bed of Razors live, and I just realized I'm never going to hear that live. Well, from the actual band or Alexi anyway, but that sucks, but that's life, I guess. And then lastly, I want to talk about his signature guitars. I remember the first time seeing his guitars, and that was on the cover of that Guitar World magazine. And I remember seeing them and like, whoa, these, like, that looks cool, man. I like those shapes of guitars. I always like the extreme shapes. And that was one that I was like, wow, it looks cool. I remember one of the first promo photos I've ever seen of his signature ESP guitars. It was him holding his Scythe guitar. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it was his white one with the black pinstripes and the Reaper blades in the inlays. And like, immediately I was like, wow, that looks fucking cool, man. Like, I've never really been a fan of white guitars, but that was the first one that I was like, that looks fucking awesome, man. And it was one of the ones that I really want to own, man. Like, but now that he's passed, I keep seeing a lot of his guitars on like eBay and buy and sells and stuff like that, and they're like ridiculously priced. Don't get me wrong, I get why they are. He's a fucking great guitar player. But I have my own my own Alexi guitar, and it was his Alexi 200, the black one. It was just plain black with the sawtooth inlays. And in 2017, I bought his signature EMG pickup and got that installed in it. And to this day, it's one of my favorite guitars. It's never going to leave my collection. Like I said, 2008 was when I first saw the Blood Drunk album. It was the first time that I ever seen his pink sawtooth model, and that was the one that I was like, oh my God, it looks so awesome. You know, the pink pinstripes, the pink inlays, like the scalloped 21 to 24 frets, like I remember seeing that and just doing my research and like, oh, I really want that guitar, and hopefully in the future I do get to have that guitar. It would be awesome. My Alexi guitar is amazing. I love it, and it's never going to leave my collection. I hope to pass it down to my children or my grandchildren. That would be awesome. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this very special episode of the Seance, where I pay tribute to one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived and frontman that I've ever seen. If you like the video, I'd like to invite you to that like button, subscribe for my next videos. I'm sorry that this one came out a lot later than expected. With school and work and everything, it's getting hard to, put out videos and stuff. But again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the Seance, and I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.